200 episodes later, we still have iPad 365. We're going to go through the iPad apps you might have missed and talk about the product for today. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to iPad 365, the show where we look at apps to keep your iPad up play. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we've done it. This is episode number 200. 200 episodes of iPad 365. It started as 7 days a week. And then I just realized how crazy that idea was, since I was already doing a podcast that was 365 days a year. Doing a video podcast 365 days a year, almost impossible. Day in Tech History is the podcast I do 365 days a year. You can check it over at dayintechhistory.com. Once again, www.dayintechhistory.com. At any rate, iPad 365 went 7 days a week for a couple months, and then I decided once I started doing some travel, I couldn't keep up with the show, so I decided, okay, we'll rework out the format. Anyway, you can check everything out. Of course, if you have any questions or if you want to congratulate me, my Twitter handle is iPad365. The email is show@ipad-365.com. show@ipad-365.com. All right, today, hey, it's been 200 episodes. I've gone through 3 iPads just for this one show in the last 365 days. And here we are at episode number 200. So I thought, instead of showing you an app, because I actually did have an app in queue, and I was looking at the app, and it's like, I have more bad things to say about this app than good. So I'm just going to kind of throw that into the pile and maybe do it a little bit later once they get their shtick together, and then turn around and get you something that you can really sink your teeth into. And what we're going to talk about is the 10 apps that you guys took a look at in the last 200 episodes. This is a top 10 list. And I'm going to show you, first of all, everything's over on list.ly. I just put the list together. We've got about 35 entries in here on the top iPad apps that were on iPad 365 that you guys just completely ate up. Couple surprises here. Couple apps I didn't think were going to be high top charters, and they turned out to be some of the best iPad app shows that I put out. So thanks to everybody that's been watching. And of course, if you missed any of these, I'm going to give you all links so you can actually go and view those once again. So, and of course, everything will be at bit.ly/iPad 365 and then dash the number -10 -9 -8 -7 -6 so on and so forth. You get the idea. But of course, if you go over to iPad 365, look for the top 10 iPad apps for show episode number 200, and you'll be able to get it from there. All right, and of course, like I said, everything is on Listly, so you can check out the apps, the actual pages right there. So let's get into the first app out of the top 10, and we're at number 10. All right, episode number 10 was simply the iPad Twitter Battle Royale. This is the episode where I compared 4 different Twitter clients that you can get on the iPad. The 4 clients being TweetDeck, the Twitter for iPad, Hootsuite, and Tweetbot. And you guys ate that up. Thank you very much. This is not only the number 10 spot on the video, but it's also the number 3 spot on the audio. So thanks to everybody that's actually been downloading the audio version of iPad 365, which you can get on iTunes or you can get on Stitcher, Internet Radio, or anything like that. So the top Twitter clients fight for number 10. Now, one thing I have to say is that all the 10 apps, through 200 apps, you got to kind of take a few apps off. So any app that's still on my iPad is going to be shown here on the screen. And that's what number 9 is. Number 9 is Activision and Pitfall. It is it's the updated version of the old Activision game Pitfall, where it's basically a run-away defense where you're holding the iPad, you're tilting it left, you're tilting it right, you're tilting it up, you're swiping up to jump, you're swiping down to slide. We first highlighted those apps with Temple Run, but with Pitfall, they really did a good job of adding the 3D effect. For the first part, you're actually running not as through their eyes, but you're actually doing it from a third person. But then it slowly works itself into a one-person thing there. And of course, he's going to die because I'm just going to let him run instead of move things around. As you can also see, they changed it a little bit so I can actually use it as a landscape mode instead of a portrait mode, which is an addition to what I first talked about the first time I used this. So once again, it's called Pitfall by Activision. You can check it out. We have the link in the show notes. Paper, or Paper 53, is one of my favorite apps to use, and I've kept it on my iPad through all the iterations because it works really well. It's a drawing program, and it's a simple sketching program. Like for instance, I'll go to my sketches here, and I've got a page where I can actually write down stuff. I've got pages where I've drawn stuff. Let's see, that's the way I like it. I don't know if I drew that or if Jennifer drew that, but the bottom line is it's a simple sketch program. You can choose from many pens. You can choose from different colors. There's add-ons where you can do mixing, like for instance this mixing tool. I'll press on that, and of course you can go to the store and you can purchase the mixer where you can mix the paints together and create your own colors. But anyway, you can simply just draw on the screen, and I'll just do a quick smiley face. And of course, to get rid of stuff, you can rewind by taking two fingers and actually doing little circles on the screen, and then go from there. So it's just as simple as that. iPad 365 right there, and go from there. It's called Paper, or Paper 53. It's in the App Store. Once again, it's the number 8 app out of all top 10. Next up is Amazon Instant Video. I talked about it once Amazon actually put this iPad app out. You were able to watch videos from your iPad, which is a great thing. Last night we actually watched Jim Parsons. He did a one-on-one interview back in 2010, and of course we're big fans of The Big Bang Theory. So we watched that. A lot of videos you can get on your Prime account, so you're not paying for movies. But if you do want to watch a movie, you can, for $3-4, you can get it in standard definition or high definition and start watching it. It's a great alternative to Netflix if you're not up on Netflix like me. And it's also a great companion or an alternative to Hulu Plus to watch some of your shows. Like for instance, American Horror Story. We watched Hugo last week. It's a pretty darn and interesting movie. Captain America, Thor, The Avengers, so on and so forth. As they come on, you'll be able to see it here. Once again, it's called Amazon Instant Video for iPad. Next up was a theme episode with iPad 365. This was the 10 most expensive iPad apps. During the 200 episodes, I did a couple different ones. The iPad Hogs, the most expensive, the back to school one, so on and so forth. So you can check all those out. You can either check them out on Geekazine over at iPad-365.com, or you can go to YouTube. We actually have the full list of episodes on their own playlist through youtube.com/Geekazine. But at any rate, on this episode, I talked about the 10 most expensive iPad apps. Nothing seemed to go past $1,000 for these apps. These are usually apps for a profession. Like for instance, if you were trying to study to be a lawyer and you wanted test notes for the bar exam, you would buy an app. There was also other apps, include The Alchemist, BarMax, Argo, the Moby Gauge Laser, so on and so forth. So we got the full list there. Of course, I got the link in the show notes if you want to check out that video. It's the 10 most expensive iPad apps for your iPad. Next up, we have another episode that really didn't talk too much about an app, but an approach to creating an app. In fact, a PR approach. I went out to San Francisco and I got to see an app before it was out on the market. And I talked to the PR person. His name's Phil Judy, and he talked about how important it is to actually get PR into your app development, how to figure everything out so you can have a successful app. Because you can put out an iPad app and nobody will see that iPad app. If you've got a good, strong approach to it, then you might get on some of the top 10 lists, and that's the important thing. So this is a great interview, and of course, I wore my really cool hat, which is sitting over there. Next up, I showed you two apps from, of course, The Dark Knight Rises. The movie was coming out. So I showed you two apps that you could get to kind of get in touch and get ready for The Dark Knight Rises. The first app was called The Dark Knight for iPad, and the second one was called Gotham's Most Wanted. Of course, one of them was where you could actually have a cowl. Basically, you'd have a cowl, you'd take a picture of yourself, and you'd have the 3D rendered cowl or Catwoman mask or Bane's mask that would be over your face, and you take the picture, send it to friends and family. So lots of great apps. In fact, I believe Arkham Asylum is now out, and I'm not sure if they have an iPad version for it. I'll check on that and probably do a future episode of that for you. But this is number 4 on the top 10 iPad apps that you watched for iPad 365, and it's also the number 2 audio version that you get on iTunes or Stitcher that you can listen to. So once again, I'll have the link in the show notes if you want to re-watch or re-listen to any of these episodes. Next up, we have Opus Domin, the day planner that I talked about actually pretty early in the episodes. Full day planner, which included the ability to add a calendar, have notes, and put different things into this day planner, like you would an old day planner that I had about 10 years ago that replaced it. So pretty cool app. It was they have a free and they have a paid version for that. It hits the number 3 spot for the top 10 list. Once again, it's called Opus Domin, and you can check it in the App Store. Now, when we come back from the break, I'm going to talk about the top 2 iPad apps that you've watched from iPad 365. The number 1 app, they actually had to take off the App Store. And we're going to talk about that next. Coming back at number 2, this is a game that I was completely... I'm still playing it. I am still playing it, and it's called Clash of the Clans. And basically, you're building yourself, your city. You build gold, you build elixir, and then of course you upgrade your city and upgrade your city. Every so many hours, there's going to be another clan that's going to attack your clan, and of course you get ready for that attack. You can buy extra stuff in the store to upgrade or to increase shields. So you can do some more upgrades. I actually just did that. I was on a 7-day shield, so I could upgrade my clan booth and of course a few more of the weapons. So you can spend a lot of money really quick with this application. It's absolutely free. It's called Clash of the Clans, and you can find me and you can join with me. My name is Geekazine on Clash of the Clans if you want to check that out. Of course, the number 1 application was an iPad app that I reviewed, but then they had to take down because there were problems. And now it's back up, and they've got new versions. I think they put a holiday theme into it, and you can get it. It's called Simpsons Tapped Out. And this was the funny thing. I downloaded the app, and then like an hour later, they said, we're having way too many problems with the server. We basically taking it out of the Apple Store. So I couldn't download it at that point. But I already had it on my iPad. I was already playing it, and so I could actually I could continue. They didn't take down the service that way. Now that they're back up, they've got things figured out. Here's what it works. It's basically just like a farming game. You build up Springfield, and of course you put in Apu's shop, you put in the houses, Flanders' house, the Simpsons' house, and you build yourself community. You have different characters. You start with Homer, you add Lisa, you get Bart, and you get Marge and Maggie, and so on and so forth. And then as you keep building, you get more coins and you get more stuff to continue to build up. It's been a while since I've tried this app. I might just download it because I'm going to do an episode coming very soon. Apps that have made some major upgrades since we last talked about it. So this is the number 1 app. You guys love this app, so congratulations to Simpsons Tapped Out for iPad. All right, today's accessory for the 12 iPad accessories for the holidays is called the Lightning to USB cable. Now, if you just got an iPhone 5 or you just got a brand new iPad like I did, this is the 4th generation iPad, then you have a little thing called the lightning bolt adapter. And of course, with the lightning adapter, you cannot hook up your old 30-pin connector to this. So that means you got to buy a whole bunch of new cables. So it'd be really nice if you know that somebody's got a new iPhone or an iPad to get them one of these cables, because these are essential. And I usually get about 3 or 4 of them myself. One for the home, one for my laptop bag, one for my car, and one for the travel. And that way I never forget a lightning cable adapter. They're $19 in the App Store. Now, you might think, oh, I'll go over to Amazon.com and find them cheaper. If you do that, make sure that they are Apple certified lightning adapter cables. Do not get generic lightning adapter cables, because they might not work. Even if they're $2, $3, $4, $5 for those cables, there's always that possibility that it will not get recognized by the iPad or the iPhone. So it's only $19 per cable. Like I said, for some it's a great stocking stuffer. So for some it's a great gift. For somebody, if you know that they have an iPhone or an iPad, you know that they're going to need an extra cable. So think about getting them the Lightning to USB cable. And that's this episode of iPad 365. What'd you think? What's on your top 10 list? What are the top 10 iPad apps that you cannot live without? Let me know. You can Twitter me over at iPad 365. Of course, you can go over to Listly and create your own list and then show them to me and let me know which iPad apps I haven't talked about yet. show@ipad-365.com is the email address. Feel free to email me there. One app that actually dropped off the top 25 list, which I was really surprised, was the iMovie GarageBand episode that I did once the iPad 3rd generation came out. I use iMovie and GarageBand a lot. So those are 2 apps that I actually use on a regular basis with my iPad. You can check out all 199 episodes plus this episode over at ipad-365.com. Of course, you can go to the YouTube channel over at youtube.com/Geekazine and then find the list for iPad 365. Otherwise, you just go to bit.ly and iPad 365, and that'll take you to the YouTube. I think it's bit.ly iPad 365 YT or YouTube. I'll put that, it'll be right here, just so you know. And then you can go check out the 200 iPad apps that I talked about. Well, it's been an interesting year. We're not done. We're going to 300. We're going to 400. We're going another year. 3 times a week. That is what iPad 365 is all about. Thanks to everybody that's been watching. We've gotten some great emails from people suggesting stuff. So keep them coming. We will see you on Wednesday when it will be another episode of iPad 365. We'll have a fun little game where we're going to talk about, and we'll do that on Wednesday. And until then, you guys, geek out. You should follow Graphite on Twitter at GraphiteINC.